Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today we were working on author's word choice, and we were focusing specifically on sarcasm today. So, sarcasm is when someone says something, but there's a deeper implied meaning, generally the opposite of what was said. So, let's dive into pages 1 through 3 of The White Tiger. All right. And we are going to look at the instances of sarcasm used within pages 1 through 3. I will do an example, which is this modeling video that we are doing right now. And then it will be the expectation that you choose another piece from pages 1 through 3 for your independent practice. You need to point out what was said, what was meant, and why do you think the author chose to use those words or sarcasm here? How did it affect the text overall? So we are going to listen to just a portion of the audio book for pages 1 through 3 together. So let's go.
Of His Excellency Wen Jiabao, the Premier's office, Beijing,
All right, so no
capital
sarcasm
of the
there
freedom-loving
because that's his
nation
actual
of
title,
China.
right?
From the desk of the White Tiger, a thinking man and an entrepreneur living in the world's center of
It's a
technology
little
and
bit sarcastic
outsourcing.
there because that's not his actual
Electronic
name
City
nor
Phase
title.
1, just off Hosur Main Road, Bangalore, India. Mr. Premier, Sir, neither you nor I speak English, but there are some things that can be said only in English. My ex-employer, the late Mr. Ashok's ex-wife, Pinky Madam, taught me one of these
That could be
things.
sarcastic,
And at
depending on if
11:32
that's her real
p.m.
name or
today,
not, but I'm
which
unclear,
was
so I'm
about
going to keep
10
listening.
minutes ago, when the lady on All India Radio announced Premier Jiabao is coming to Bangalore next week, I said that thing at once. In fact, each time when great men like you visit our country, I say it. Not that I have anything against great men. In my way, sir,
That
I
sounded a little
consider myself
sarcastic to me,
one of your kind.
because generally you wouldn't
But
need to
whenever
say
I
that.
see our Prime Minister and his distinguished sidekicks drive to the airport in black cars
Yeah, this is
and get up
solidifying for me
and
that
do
this is
namastes
sarcasm.
before you in front of a TV camera and tell you about how moral and saintly India is, I have to say that thing in English.
All right, so I've only gotten 1 minute and 36 seconds in, and I've already identified at least 2 areas that I believe are sarcastic. So you can also choose for your independent practice to use the one that I don't use, right? So I believe that I identified this as being quite sarcastic because he's not referring to himself as his actual name, right? So he's saying the White Tiger. So there's some kind of there's a sarcastic tone there, meaning that there's a deeper underlying meaning of what he really wants to say. I'm going to skip down, however, and I'm going to focus on the fact of not that I have anything against great men. Okay, so this paragraph right here, in fact, each time when great men visit you, like you visit, so I'm going to open this in Google Docs just to copy and paste it. You will have it already in a Google Doc version. So I want to take this piece because my first set of questions asked me what was actually said. All right, so I'm going to back over here what was actually said, and I'm going to paste it, right? Now, if I'm identifying that as being sarcastic, I need to highlight that there was a deeper implied meaning there. So what was meant? What was meant by this from the narrator is that the people who participate in greetings such as those described are not, in fact, great men. Right? This is evident because there is a sarcastic tone to this, to the fact that distinguished guests are brought in fancy cars, told only positive aspects, and do not truly understand what the society is truly like. They are only given a distinguished guest facade. So the facade is like what they cover with, right? So why did the author choose to use those words or sarcasm here? The author chose to use these word choices, including sarcasm, to introduce us to the narrator as a sarcastic man, but also a passionate man who truly wants to show the real society that he, an everyday man, sees. How did it affect the text? It affected the text because it sets the stage for the lens through which we as readers will see the culture and society as a whole. So because we're introduced to this person right away, even in the signature line, right, where he doesn't use his real name, he doesn't have real titles, we're automatically introduced in a sarcastic way because that's poking fun at the idea of how these privileged individuals that he speaks of, right, Mr. Premier, His Excellency, how they see India right now, how they see Bangalore, right? So that's important for us to note because it's introducing this character as a sarcastic character, meaning that they might be saying one thing, but we really have to pay deep attention to what they are saying because it will give us more clues as to the true meaning of how they want to represent India because they are the everyday man, right? Our narrator right now, he's the everyday man. He sees it way differently than Your Excellency, Mr. Premier, Pinky Madam, all these people who have great status and privilege. He's saying, hey, you want to see what it's really like? You better listen to me, right? So we get that sense of, we not only get that he's a sarcastic character, but more importantly, we get that passion that he has for showing the true India to only make it better. We get that idea of I'm the regular everyday man, but I'm willing to work hard for what I'm going to accomplish. So go ahead and take a few minutes now and do the independent practice, fill in what was actually said, what was meant, and then why you think the author used that sarcasm there and how it affected the text. You can definitely use the fake name and titles as your example if you'd like, and just talk about why do you think the author did that? How did it affect the text as we begin? Good luck. Let me know if you need help.